saw it, and I was like, I called her and I said, "You got to help me take this down." I was just still at school. So,
Okay, I think we're on now, huh?
yeah.
Okay, I got the
Ladies and
thumbs
gentlemen, we're
up.
now online. God bless you. Enjoy the program.
God bless you, brother. Thank you. All right, all right. Y'all have a good time now. So look, welcome everybody. We're here at the Writers Workshop, and I'm Nathaniel Gaston, and this is Ro Brady. Oh, Brady. Yeah, it is Brady. I always want to say Brady for some reason,
I
but it
know.
is
I
Brady.
said,
Okay.
think like the bratty little kid with
Yeah,
D.
yeah. Absolutely. But anyhow, I am so glad that you're on tonight because you have a big project, and so do I. I have to, I finally stopped dragging my feet and wrap up the one that you've been helping me with as well. But I want to talk about your project tonight. Anyhow, Ro is an author, and she also has her own business in editing and doing many other things. Ro writes for you. That's her one handle that I know she uses and others. But Ro has been a mainstay on this program, and I certainly appreciate her contributions in many different ways, not just when we are here on video, but also her and her literary road dogs always come to our events as well. So that's always great. By the way, Ro, I want to tell you that, and by the way, we're located here on The Voice, 17104 Harrisburg, and that was Brother Chris Thomas, the owner, and his family. They're on location. Let's put it that way. And
Eh.
so that's why we came a little bit late, but it's all good. But anyhow, what was I gonna say? Oh, I'll talk to the brother over at the gallery. I forget the I'm drawing a blank on the name, but it's the Black Arts Gallery on Third Street.
Uh-huh.
And anyhow, we're going to try. We're going to start doing some in-house poetry readings to see how it goes, to see if we can get more
Oh,
people to come into the gallery. And we're looking at twice a month. And so we talked about a Friday night and even a Saturday. We'd still be doing the on live thing. He was showing me we could still do this, but at the same time have an in-person reading there at the gallery. The gallery is beautiful.
I
Oh
haven't
my
been there.
goodness.
I have not
That's
yet.
my first time, but this past Saturday, I went in for the first
Yeah.
time. And I mean, it's small, but it has artwork everywhere. And it's from
Wow.
the bottom of the floor all the way up to the top of the ceiling. And it's just magnificent. It's like, what?
Yeah, I
It
want to
really,
go. Every time I'm in that area, it's not open.
I know that's the same thing here. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I was down
So,
there last weekend
mhm.
and I looked over and it was closed. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, you gotta figure out when, but if they can get what do you call it, the traffic and all of that, but we have to get the rhythm of the place when it's open. And he said if we want to do, I think he said a Friday night, we're gonna talk about it, but we're gonna do it every other weekend, at least, twice a weekend, twice a month. And see whether or not we can generate also business for him, because I love to see more people go in there, not just from Harrisburg. I mean, the artwork that's in there, everyone from central Pennsylvania, from Philadelphia, they need to come see that gallery. It is loaded with
Yeah,
magnificent work.
I would love my niece to try to get connected with them. She has done some artwork for the Black Wall Street.
I saw that, yes.
Yeah, so if
Mhm.
we get connected, I'm definitely going to try to get him to take a look at her artwork.
Yeah, one thing we're helping with is to promotion. His name is Barber, brother. I want to say Butch Barber. I don't think it's Butch, but anyhow, he's an artist himself, and he does a lot of abstract, beautiful abstract paintings. And I'm not always big in abstract, but when I saw his, I was like, wow, yeah, he's good. So anyhow, it's something that we want to really do, and hopefully the workshop can be of assistance, and it can be of assistance to us, and be a good marriage. Also, I want to say that I'm in talks with a brother out of Clear Blue. Someone called me, and I don't always pick up these lines because I don't know who it is. A lot of times I use the name, but it's somebody trying to sell you something or whatever. So anyhow, I said, let me see who this is, and I checked it out. This brother is in ministry, and what he wants to do is he has a clown. He teaches people how to be clowns, and then they
Mhm.
can go and work in the hospitals, and they
Oh,
do
okay.
humor in hospitals and stuff like that. And so he's big. He's out of Pittsburgh, but we're trying to get him here. He wants to come here and do the same thing that he's doing in Pittsburgh and other places to have like a school for clowns. So we're going to collaborate. The hope is that we can collaborate. So if I can give him the space once a week to do his thing, then he can come in and do some things for us. So we're talking about him possibly coming in on June 15th, when we have our Juneteenth program over
Mm,
there at Ben Franklin School, you know, doing 6 in Broad Street, 6 in Burbank, whatever. And so, yeah, you know, that'd be a real nice connection. So anyhow, we're going to see what happens with that as well. So we have some real good connections out there, and we're going to keep on pushing and just keep expanding the writer's workshop and all that kind of good stuff. I'm excited about the Black Wall Street. I hope to be able to contribute some more stuff in
I
the
was gonna, I was
in the
gonna tell
future.
you, now I need you to focus on an influential woman.
I will do that. Absolutely.
Yes, and
And
it was like, we're not letting you go.
I appreciate it. I love writing for the
Oh,
Black
good,
Wall Street.
good,
So
perfect.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's look at, you know, who we want to talk. Yeah, I can think of a lot of influential women in my life anyhow. Some great women are just doing great things. And, you know, we got to make sure we lift them up.
Mm,
So, okay. Boom, 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 boom. Let's talk about Ro Brady. Speaking of influential women. Sitting right
mm.
in front of me here is Ro Brady. First, let's start with your company. Tell people about what you do and all that, and then we'll go into your latest project, your poetry book.
Well, I've been quite busy over here in my little corner of the world.
Mhm.
Um, I think this week we finally put the magazine to bed, so to speak, with the Black Wall Street. So, I'm the editor-in-chief of that. That's going well. Doing a lot of community outreach with the magazine. Uh, Between that, ghostwriting, I've got 2 ghostwriting projects and possibly a new one. Spoke to a lady who started coming to our Wednesday night Bible study who has a book. Not
Okay.
quite sure where she wants to go with it. So we've been trying to figure out like, okay, what do you want your next step to be?
Mhm.
So, still kind of working with that. And
So
doing
you're
a lot of,
going, when do you expect your issue of the Black Wall Street to come out next?
oh, it should be out probably by the end of this weekend
Good, good.
for
Okay.
the Father's Day.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I
Good, good,
absolutely
good.
love the cover. I wanted to do something that was a little bit, when I think of your typical Father's Day, anything that has to do with graphics, we always think of either the suit and the tie or the
Mhm.
slippers, the puppy, and the pipe, you know. I always think that's like classic Father's Day, you
Yeah.
know. But we did some, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm not going
Good,
to tell
good, good. Yeah,
anybody
don't
out
tell
there,
me.
but it's a
Okay.
little bit different, you know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I
Mhm.
was really happy with the cover and that we kind of this edition had to go back and forth with a lot of things, but everybody so far who has just seen it has said
Mhm.
that Jenny was very well pleased with it. So that always makes me feel good when she's like, "Oh, it
Absolutely.
looks really good." So it's very
Absolutely.
vibrant this time. I mean, not that
Okay.
it's not always vibrant, but I think the colors just really going to pop.
Excellent, excellent. Good, good, good. We've been doing a great job with it, and I'm glad you took it over in terms of being the editor. And it is owned by Jenny Dallas and her husband Bishop William Dallas, and they've been real troopers. Not they have also a newspaper for the Hispanic community as well. Is that right?
Yes, they also do another magazine called La Voz.
The vote. Yeah, okay, good,
Uh-huh.
good. They're doing great stuff. Yeah, and so I'm glad that you know we thought it was dead there for a while. It just was gonna just end, and then all of a sudden the announcement was made that you were the new editor in chief. I'm like, okay, here we go, and you've been kicking it ever since. So that's good. Hats off to you. And then you're working with people individually. You know, you mentioned that already. And if folks are interested in doing what editing, ghostwriting, what else do you offer?
Editing and ghostwriting, but I do share, it's like editing someone else's work is so much easier,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
much easier. With this project, it has been a labor of love. I have to give out, I don't know if she's watching, but like I said, Queenie is amazing. She
Yeah.
has done some amazing graphics for me.
Mhm.
Sets up, I no longer like every now and then I'll post social media, but she's been doing all of my social media posts and doing one bang up of a job of it, just really helping me expand my social media platform. She's really good.
I
So
want to
it'd be
know more
nice.
about that because I heard you say that you know, you mentioned that before and I thought, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, she does these
So,
amazing graphics, like even
wow.
today when I told her, I said, okay, we kind of have to go back to ground zero. And
Hmm.
I called her and she was like, oh, okay, well, we need to make this look elegant. And she did.
All right,
Even when
all
I
right.
told her, I said, like, this book needs to hold off. And I
Hmm.
think it took her like all of 6 minutes to pull together a very elegant, well said, like, okay, we're back at ground zero, but she did it so well and so quick and like dropped everything to help me out. So I really, really have to, if she's out there, applaud her for that, for
Fantastic.
being a support. But I do want to say, all those aspiring authors out there or indie authors, you got to have a team of people. You cannot be an independent author by yourself. Yeah,
Right.
'cause I really, really have been supported through this book. And the other person I really have to give a shout out to is your daughter, Terry Martinez. Because
Mm.
I thought I was like, she will never speak to me again. She just not gonna
Mhm.
speak to me again. I mean, I I use one software, Vellum, that is perfect for
Mhm.
doing like your standard dialogue tags, your standard novel. But poetry is a whole other beast because
Yes,
of
it
your
is.
stanzas.
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
your stanzas are off, it messes up your entire, the flow of the poetry, your
Amen.
punctuation and all that. And I was
Mhm.
calling her, I was like, Terry, it's me
Mhm.
again. It's your neighborhood pest.
Yeah.
She just continued to work with me, figured out the glitches. I mean, the inside of the book is beautiful. It's just like, I got to go back and I'm one of those people's like, okay, the perfectionist in me wants it all to be right.
Right on. Right on.
Yeah,
Great.
so so if you all go on there, it's going to say temporarily unavailable. So it's going to
Mhm.
be back up. I was going to try to go back and look at it tonight, and I was like, no, 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 because you're not in the mind space to do it. And that's the
Right.
other thing, one of the benefits of being an indie author is that you don't have anybody's timeline to focus on except your own.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah, and with all the other stuff I did, I was like, why am I rushing this? Just wait till tomorrow. Because after I leave your show, I have another show. And
Okay. Mhm.
I've been participating and I want to give Tabitha a shout out too. She does a show on IG. She does it at 10 o'clock.
Mhm.
It's Rainy Word Sync. It's every week she puts out a poetry prompt. You
Mhm.
respond to the poetry prompt, and then if you're one that her and her partner she calls herself poetic, what is it, poetic edition, I can't remember, it's poetic something,
Yeah.
but the two of them do this show together
Mhm.
and they choose about 5 or 6 different pieces that really speaks to them, and I've been
Mhm.
chosen several times. And it's just fun because then you get to meet other poets. Like
Yeah.
I've connected with a lot of other poets, and that has expanded, my network of writing poetry and connecting with
Mhm.
other people. So maybe somehow what we've got to do is put out some messages on IG and get them to come over here.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
something I
somehow
want to do. Yeah. Mhm.
I'm gonna be on that show tonight at
Okay.
10.
Okay.
And I'm gonna, say to Tabitha, we do this other show, it would be great, if some of your
Yeah.
poets would be willing to come over to this show.
Some of we're interested in featuring poets. We like to feature people.
Poetic,
And
no, I can't remember it again. My brain is so on overload.
mhm.
I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. It's
Okay.
Tabitha and Poetic. I literally, you know me, I'll have to look it up.
Okay. Good, good, good. Well, listen, I mean, but this is good stuff because you avail yourself to other platforms. And so you're always a wealth of knowledge for us. And that's always good. And I appreciate that. And, in the day, at one time, we had Queenie really bringing us a lot of great poets from all
Yeah,
over the country. Yeah, I hope and let her know that we're still open for that,
I
anytime.
know. I
And then
know.
the same thing with Carla Christopher, who's now in ministry and doing great stuff from the pulpit. But she was a tremendous asset with her, connections as well, especially when we were doing everything in person. And she was
That's who I
doing,
would really love for you to get an interview with.
who's that? Carla Christopher?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll reach out to her and see whether or not she's willing to do it because yeah, she's a very multi-talented, excellent writer and publisher. Her and her
Mm-hmm.
partner at the time, I don't think they're working together now, but anyhow, and I got something in my eye, forgive me. But anyhow, yeah, she's really good and she's a great poetic voice. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'll reach out to Carla and see whether or not she's available.
Okay.
If not, I'll let you know. But
Okay. I
we'll
mean,
get
if you
somebody.
have somebody else in mind, that's
Well, I'm gonna tell you someone who just opened up her own space, and that is Julia Mallory
well,
has
I've
something
already
called
got
Chapter Six.
Julia. I got Julia.
Fantastic, good.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. We've
okay.
been connecting a lot.
10:06. Oh yeah.
Yes, I
Oh, who
told her, I said,
Julia?
I've got to get down there, but
Yeah, yeah.
we had put everything on hold till for this month. And I said,
Mhm.
okay, I've already sent her interview questions and everything. So she's
Fantastic. Good.
got her
I'm
picture
glad.
ready to go. She's good
Mhm.
to go.
Okay, I'm glad you did because she's phenomenal. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, yeah, there's a lot of great women around, so we have more than more than a few to choose from. Okay, let's do it that way. So anyhow, your book, tell us about the book.
Well, I mean, it will be up soon. So tomorrow
Okay,
morning I'll be back at it again. I can show you the cover. The cover is not going to change.
okay.
Uh, can you see it?
Hold it up just a little bit further. Up, okay, yep. Yeah, when you hold it up one part, it kind of blurs, but oh, now we see it. Yeah, that's pretty good right there.
Yeah, so the
Yeah,
cover is not
the
going to change.
strobe.
It just
Okay,
this
real
is the
good.
proof. So and the blessing came in it was I had started to order, and then when we went back and looked at it, we realized like, oh, there's a small error that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
So this is, and here's one piece of advice for anybody who's doing indie publishing is to always order your author's proof.
Yes.
Yes, do not just hit publish, order your
Mhm.
author's proof, you know. And then even after that, you know, because I'm sharing with you, you know, the sort of the back trail of like realizing and finding out you have an error.
Mhm.
So for me, it was like, oh heavens, put it up and then have them immediately take it down. But I
Yeah.
look at it as I would have rather done it that way than have had, because I already had one person who already purchased the book.
Okay.
Yeah, one of my beta readers said she struggles with reading it online, so she wanted
Mhm.
to go ahead and purchase it. Would make me feel really good that it
Yeah.
had only been up, you know, for not even a full day. I said to her,
Mhm.
no, I found a small error and I want to take it down and fix it because
Yeah.
it just got mixed. But
Well, you know that.
I
Mhm.
think it's one of my best poetry books. The poems inside, but
Okay.
I also have to share about the cover.
Mhm.
Um, I wanted to do something different, and I spent a lot of time researching poetry covers. And one of the big fads now, and even just with the regular books, is to have a face, but not necessarily the full face.
Mhm.
You know, like you're giving the essence of there is this person behind this silhouette, but we don't see all of the face. And
Okay.
I wanted this design for some time, but I couldn't find, you know, I couldn't find an artist who could do it. Well,
Mhm.
I happened to be subbing at the high school over in Middletown,
Mhm.
and I was talking to the secretary, and the art teacher just happened to walk by,
Mhm.
and she said, like, the secretary, she says, you should go and talk to Mr. Billy. These are some amazing students. I was like, I never
Mhm.
thought of that. Well, to make a long story
Mhm.
short, I went down and talked to the art teacher, and he sent me this amazing little redhead wonder. She's
Mhm.
amazing. So she's the one who designed, well, we worked together, but I told her what I wanted, and she did all the graphics for she did the woman, and
Mhm.
then I had the graphics put on. But she is amazing. This is the one that I keep telling you you should use for your book because I
I
have an
like it.
idea for yours.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but
Good.
she's only an 11th grader, but she's very, very talented.
Hey,
And
talent is talent. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, and the thing I really enjoyed about it is the fact it's an opportunity to sew back for a young person.
Mhm.
There's so many other reasons why to write. You know, we all think about, oh yeah, I want to write, I'm going to make big bucks. This is not the arena. If you're looking to make big bucks, being an indie
Mhm.
author, I'm gonna tell you, and I've not done too bad. I've made enough money to go on a vacation, buy a new computer, rewrite
All
another
right.
book. But it's not like, okay, I'm gonna retire and not do anything. If
Mhm.
that's your reason for writing, then
Yeah.
think again.
But I will tell you now, you're absolutely right for most people. But there's a couple I was just reading about and how they both, were working and everything. And then one decided they kind of wanted to write a book, and then the other one kind of was helping them out. And, and then they, was like, wait a minute. And so they both kind of got the fire and they dropped their jobs. They're now best-selling authors and they have worked this thing to the nth degree. And they
Yeah, I
said,
mean, yeah, I'm
it
not
just
saying
got,
it's not possible. I'm just
oh, yeah,
saying
it's definitely possible. Yeah,
it is
that's
definitely
definitely.
possible.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
possible.
yeah.
But I also feel like if that's your number one motive of going into it,
Mhm.
then you also have to think about your why of what you're writing. I think that also goes along.
Absolutely. But I will tell you though, that what they said was they wrote what they loved. They said they just wrote their interests and they
Yeah, exactly.
made it fun.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
but the other thing is you have to give it time too. A lot of people give up too quickly. That's the other thing they said. They said they didn't give up too quickly. One
Mhm.
kind of caught fire before the other one did, and they just kind of stayed at it. And then the next thing you know, they looked up and said, we don't have to work. I mean, other than what we want to do here. And that doesn't happen for everybody. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, that's
You're
true. That's
absolutely right.
true. I
But
mean,
yeah, but
I've done fairly well, but
yeah,
you're right. It's like the amount of time, and
yeah.
I'm working with a new group of writers now. And
Mhm.
the first thing I said to them is, what is your why? And how much time are you really dedicated to doing this? So if you're going to say,
Yes,
I want to write a book, one of the hardest things for someone to do is to commit to see the project through. And I said,
absolutely.
like, if you give up, like that couple that you talked about, they were
Mhm.
persistent. They had to put a lot of dedication and time
Yes, they
into it,
did.
and
Yes,
they
they
had to
did.
enjoy it. So I think the other thing in that is you have to enjoy what you're writing. You have to be willing to put some time into it. And then you also have to do it with, you got to have a tribe of people. It's not like you're going to be over success overnight if you don't have some support. If you don't have a good editor, if you don't have a good cover, if you don't have all those things, that's what made them a success. It wasn't just, and the writing.
Oh, no, no, no. You're absolutely right about that. And
Huh?
sometimes it's not, they didn't have a whole team. They just happened to hit a publisher that really kind of believed in them and one person in particular. And then next thing
Mhm.
you know, and they don't both write for the same publishers, by the way, when I think about that. But let me throw out a name to you, Terry McMillan.
Oh, I
So
just finished one of her books like a week ago.
yeah, but I mean, at one time, I mean, that's all, that name was huge. But you don't hear her name that much anymore. So the other thing that this interview was saying is that you can hit real hard, real fast, and then things kind of mellow out on you a little bit. And so the
Hmm.
question is, are you going to stick with it though? Or do you expect everything to be knocking out the park? No, it's not going to always happen that way. But you stay with it, you stay the course, and then you find your niche too. Like when I think of Pat was always reading James Patterson. She loved James Patterson books, and he found his niche. But guess what? It didn't happen overnight. But once he
Mm-mm.
found that storyline and that, what people kind of like, you stick with that. And he went with, and
Yeah,
that's, you
that's
know,
that's the other thing is I
mhm,
think the majority of people who don't have success are those people who quit too early. And it's very easy to get discouraged because I could have
yes.
let this whole glitch with this book make me
Oh, yeah.
think I'm just not doing because it has been a labor of love. But I
Mhm.
realized, like, and I looked at it this way from a spiritual aspect of it. I always know it's like, okay, there's some reason why the enemy just wants to keep me from getting, because I've had a lot of
Yeah.
back and forth issues with this. But I also
Mhm.
look at it that way. It's like, okay, I can't do anything without Christ's help.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I also look at the spiritual aspects of writing.
Absolutely. And when you think about it, it's a gift that you have. It's a calling
Hmm.
that you have. And it's a calling, especially, I remember, I don't know, someone said that when you wake up in the morning, and that's one of the first things on your mind, it's something that just drives you. You have got to do this, whatever. But now that doesn't mean you can sit down and write all the time or anything like that. But you see it, you feel that you are that thing, whatever that thing might be, an athlete, a writer, a teacher, You know, you just
Mhm.
feel it in your bones. This is your destiny. This is something you really truly want to do. And if it's what you really truly want to do, then you have to work at it. That's the other piece.
Exactly.
Everybody that's gifted doesn't necessarily want to work at it, you know.
Mhm.
And I always
Mhm.
go back to the world of sports when I think about that. There were guys in my high school who I thought could have been much better athletes than I was, basketball player, whatever. But guess what? They didn't have the discipline. They didn't have the stick-to-itiveness. They were angry half the time, want to fight. You know, the coach don't want all that. Coach want to know whether or not you're coachable, you know. So while they were good on the playground, the question was, how come you're not on the team? The answer is, you know, because I don't want to do the work. I had an uncle who said that. I mean, my uncle was one of the fastest runners I'd ever met. I mean, he just took on everybody. But guess what? He was doing it in the streets when we're having fun. Why didn't you run for the team? He said, I didn't like the coach. Okay. Is that's it? Okay. Let that go, you know. So everybody has a reason why they do or they don't. But the main thing is if you're a writer, then you got to be a doer. You got to do it, you know? And who knows? I mean, hey, it is what it is. But good stuff for you. First off, congratulations on your book. And I'm glad to see this coming out. And I'm glad you caught that, whatever that glitch was, you know, before you really kind of, you know, made that major investment.
Yeah, yeah. And I like I did said the spiritual part of it is like everything happened for a reason. And it was like, oh, okay, Jesus, I see your reason because you wanted to be
Mhm.
to give you glory. And I just
Absolutely.
stopped for a minute and realized I can't do this book without you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
all things, listen, you say, put the whole armor of God on and give God the glory in all things. I mean, if you don't do that, the question
Uh-huh.
is, what are you doing? You know, that's why I will tell you, and it really came to life for me. And I mentioned this many times before when we traveled, Pat and I traveled to Senegal, and the Muslims in Senegal would constantly say, Inshallah. And it was if God is willing, and if it is God's will, I think that's the correct what's your name. I remember thinking that is a powerful thing to say. You know, hey, I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, inshallah, you know, if it
Yeah,
is
like
God's
we
will.
didn't guarantee to see you
That's
tomorrow.
right. Yeah, that's right. And, you know, so give God his glory, you know. Speaking of that, let me do this real quick, and then we're going to come back and talk more with Ro Brady, and also maybe she'll be gracious with a poem or two. We'll see. But anyhow, I'm going to ask Brother Chris if he's tuned in to us here, if he could maybe, I don't know if you're able to pull up any videos tonight. I know you're on location and everything,
Yes,
Brother
sir. It
Chris.
should be okay. We'll have to give it a dry run
Okay.
here to make sure the
Mm.
internet connection here is stable enough to do it. But let's give it a
All right.
try. Did you want to talk about your Juneteenth event real quick?
Absolutely, let's do that. I appreciate that. There it is, coming up on Saturday, June the 15th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Let me put my specs on here, because I tell you what. But anyhow, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we're gonna have food, we're gonna have vendors and music, poetry, song and dance. It's gonna be, and many, many vendors. And already I've reached out to Brother Dred Scott, who's already told me that he's interested in being there. Rose just told me that she's planning on being there long before.
Yeah, Maria's
Awesome.
coming.
Good, good, good.
And we
Fantastic.
just need
Yeah.
our third buddy, Wendy.
Yes, indeed. Well, I'm sure she'll be there. We'll reach out to her. But notice that it is free, and it's going to be at Ben Franklin School. And again, it's you know, just going to be a lot of fun. And always got to give Nicole Wilkerson a shout out. She's the events planner and coordinator, and she and I have been, you know, going back and forth and talking about some wonderful things. You will have a ball. Bring your whole family, and believe me, you'll have a ball. So that's that. There it is, right there. Hope to see it. And there are a lot of great things going on, by the way, for Juneteenth. Don't sleep on those things. Please get out there and get involved in all those various programs, many as you can, because people work hard, put these programs on, and we should never forget what Juneteenth is all about, okay? All right, so at this time, if Brother Chris can bring up a video, appreciate it.
People think the deconstruction of a man is some loud, violent occurrence, this outpour of bitterness towards the world, when in reality, the deconstruction of a man is a silent film, a common surgical procedure that the world didn't know it was trained to do. The breaking of a boy is the world's quietest natural disaster. As a man, there is no such thing as being stuck between a rock and a hard place. You either use the stones at rock bottom to build a way out, or you get buried by them. Ain't nobody coming to save you. The whole world is trying to construct you into its perfect little image, and the people around you are the ones responsible for your manufactured masculinity. Some of us are going to make it through assembly, but we need to watch out for our defective counterparts, because the whole world is going to use their flaws to define all of us. Luckily, most defective product is aware of its own shortcomings and tends to destroy itself given enough time alone with its imperfections. This abridged explanation of the process is how you become a man or a monster. Everybody knows what a monster does. Everybody judges the monster. Nobody questions its creator. Some of us are manufactured to make light of our peril, with jokes, if you will. Male comedians or magicians in this way, how they take their pain and airbrush it into something laughable. Hee ha ha, joke about a failed suicide. The crowd laughs, the curtains close, the comedian drinks all the way home. A man's tears are just funny that way. How they have to be translated to be accepted. How they have to be transcribed into an art form to be worthy of observation. How you have to bleed artistically to become a worthy topic of conversation. It's funny how we can joke about a man's misery, but nobody taught the boy to cry. But they'll teach him how to fight. Nobody tucked him in at night so he doesn't sleep at night. Nobody provides protection to the protectors. Nobody provides the providers with provisions. Nobody looks after the overseer. Nobody has ever tried to guide a man that steers. Everybody judges the weak men. Nobody checks on the strong ones. Only other men seem to know how subtle a difference there is before the transition. Nobody taught the boy to cry, so he would do it at all the wrong times. In the barber chair, getting caskets sharp, remembering the funeral of a failed relationship. In the grocery aisle, breaking down because he's weighed down by the tears collecting in his baggage at a soccer game, remembering what it was like to be a boy running towards a goal. Most men will only experience unconditional love from their mothers, and some of us don't even get that. Most of us never even had appreciation or respect without conditions or hidden intentions. We don't know what it sounds like to hear, "I see you, and I'm proud of you. I'm glad you're here. You really make a difference." Yet the expectation is to constantly be displaying the strength and love that the world is so hesitant in conveying. We're expected to have a thick skin but get judged if it turns to a hard shell. The first step in being a man is ignoring the hunger. Cause yes, boy, you're gonna be starving. Starved of attention, starved of affirmation, starved of love, starved of being told that you are enough. Step 2 in being a man is comfortability with replaceability. Cause you are only as good as you are useful. You are only as valuable as you are needed by others. And should there ever come a day, boy, where you fail to provide everybody with a smiling face, then do not be surprised when they say all men do is take up space. Step 3 in being a man is overcoming your fear of the fire, because almost everything you will ever try to build will go up in flames. Relationships, careers, hobbies, and yes, you are always to blame. Step 4 in being a man is understanding that by the time you finally get all the right answers, the questions will have already changed, and you might achieve the strength of Herculean fiction, trying to balance the weight of all these contradictions. Be a man, they say. Definition unknown. Description keep changing. We men, so empty, so irritable, so this, so that. When we get told what we are, so much we've understood that who we are ain't even up to us. The blame is always on us regardless. One guilty man's actions requires an innocent man's explanation. Otherwise, you're all guilty by gender association. There are 4 times as many male suicidal ideations because it's been hammered in our head that we're falling short of our societal expectations. I mean, just imagine being in a world of hurt for 100 different reasons during a nationwide emasculation season. There's a unique brand of sadness that follows being hated without reason. It ain't no secret why such a high percentage of us have attempted to stop breathing. As the saying goes, every failure is one step closer to the successful attempt. And there is no such thing as an attempted suicide. A man's soul dies long before his body has the chance to realize. A man with an old soul is just a boy that contemplated going ghost. For every woman that suffers the same fate, 4 men will follow her to the grave. And I tried to hide the stats from the poet because he might romanticize them. He might mistake this tragedy for a love story. He might write a poem in place of the suicide notes that were never left behind because nobody taught him otherwise. So who's going to teach these boys to cry while they're still alive? A man with nothing to lose will view everything as something to take, and a child that isn't embraced by his village will burn the village down. And he will stare as everything that did not love him back contorts and cracks and he will ease his way into the fire until he finally feels some warmth. Thank you.
Good, mother. That was absolutely fantastic. That brother kicked that thing for how long was that piece? And he didn't hesitate. He didn't have a note. I mean, come
Yeah,
on
you
now.
you you heard him trying to breathe there for
I'm telling you, woo,
yeah,
he was
the
smoking.
cadence of of it was really good.
It really was. I
Uh-huh.
mean, really, truly,
It
that
reminded
was.
me of a conversation that I had um when I was at, and I don't even remember which high school I was at, um,
Mhm,
just with two black young men and their conversation they were having with the N word. And I think I
uh,
shared that before,
mhm,
and how it lessens, I said to them, it lessens who you are as a person,
mhm,
you
mhm,
know, and both of them were really tall, looked like athletes, and I said, you walk into a room and you have presence. Why are you destroying that presence with those
mhm.
words?
Yeah,
Don't let your words destroy your presence.
yeah, yeah. And
And they
with
ended up apologizing to me,
mhm,
but
mhm,
that's what that particular piece reminded me of the conversation that I had. And that was maybe about 2 years ago.
all
But
right.
I felt like, like the kids need to hear, especially those two young men. I would have loved for them to be on this line to have heard that piece.
Absolutely. They need to hear
Yeah.
something like that.
Mhm.
And not only that, they need to appreciate what that brother just did. I mean, that's borderline genius, as far as I'm concerned. He just rolled with that piece, and it just flowed. I was behind a car yesterday or the day before. One or two. It was a gray car and had big black lettering on the back of it that was printed in, and it says "Little Nigga," Nigga. And here we are driving around this nice car, beautiful car, looked like it, brand new, 2024 or something. But then he has printed on the back little, I mean, come on, brother. Is that what you think yourself? That's what you want to promote? That's who you are? I mean, unbelievable. And so it is what it is. And, whoever owns the car, God bless you. That's your right to say what you need to say. I just wish you said it differently or saw yourself in a different light. Let's put it that way. Anyhow, I appreciate that piece, Brother Chris. That was really good. So you know what? I'm going to ask you, do you want to read a piece? Find a piece of your work that you would like to share tonight, Ro?
Oh, okay. Well, I got the book right here.
Okay, and I need to grab something to drink real quick. I'm gonna be right back. But go on and start reading. I'll be right back in, okay?
Okay. I think I'm gonna read something because we are coming to Juneteenth. Uh I wrote one last year, but this is a new one about Juneteenth. It's called Now That We Are Here. When we came here, the cotton was high in the field. Our joy had not given us hope for freedom. We took comfort in knowing that God loved the child that had its own. We owed nothing, not even the scars on our bowed backs. They too belonged to the master. Audrey told us the master's tools will never dismantle the master's house. We still wait for the dismantling of generational institutions that hold tight to pressing us down and causing us to stumble into disillusioned state of social justice, where our babies are still dying senselessly on bloody sidewalks, where men in blue forget oaths taken to protect and defend. Before we came here, we ran through fields of abundancy. We were kings and queens with authority to rule over great nations. We stood before men, naked and torn from our land. Now that we are here, we cry out for freedom. We cry out for justice. While we wait, we celebrate this day, the day when the chains fell from our bound arms. We raised our hands to the sky and spoke with weighted tongues of freedom to come. We are here. We will use the time to tell our young ones about the past. Tell them how we waited for freedom to come now that we're here. Um, this one's
Nice.
called Now That We Are Here. It's my tribute to Juneteenth.
Right on. Amen and amen. Thanks for sharing that. I'm sorry I missed a little bit part of it, but you always have such powerful words and I appreciate your work. Excuse me, that piece is in your latest book, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, right. Fantastic, fantastic. Um, we're all celebrating Juneteenth. And I hope that, again, everyone will take advantage of the wonderful opportunity to remember that we were once an enslaved people. And that's just incredible. The older I get, the more incredible that sounds, that we were what? People did, and they did some horrible things. I mean, absolutely horrible things to our people. And now they want to act like that period never existed, or they don't want it to be known. They don't want their children to be reading about it and all this kind of stuff. And what manner of people are we dealing with here, And I will say again, if you are in the Harrisburg area, please go down to the State Museum, make your way to the second floor, and look at that wonderful display, if you will, of African American history. And I guess it's mostly just central Pennsylvania, but it's hard hitting. It tells it's
And you
very
said it's
hard
always been there?
hitting. It's been there for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
2 years.
How
I
many
had no
times have we
idea.
been in there?
I mean, I'm telling you, I just had to shake my head, and someone I was talking to about it said, "Oh yeah, was there when they did the grand opening of it, And I said, "That's incredible." I mean, I went in, of course, I always went in with a purpose. For the last, 2 years, I mean, actually about 18 years, when I think about it. But anyhow, for the last 2 years, I've been going in to go directly back to the auditorium to do what we were going to do. It never even dawned on me that I hadn't been through the museum in a while. And they have a couple of different displays. One of women's display about women on the second floor. They have all these pictures up with all of the captions of who the people are.
I know we kind of forget it's a museum.
It's a museum. Yes, it is.
Yeah, we forget because we're
Mhm.
always there for that one event in the auditorium and we think more of it as an art venue, but we forgot it's a museum.
It's a museum. But I've been to that museum all my life. I mean, I grew up on Cumberland Street and, all around that area. So I used to go into the state capitol and museum all the time. In fact, that was just one of the things I did. If I wasn't playing ball, I would like to go in places like that just to kind of see what's happening. And one of the knocks in the museum could be, it wasn't for me, but it could be that they hadn't changed the displays in years. At one point, if you've seen them, you've seen them, And so you would hope that they were bringing something different every now and then. They had different events, but not different displays. So that great big mural of Civil War that took place, I mean, that thing is
I remember
gigantic.
that one.
Yeah, but that's been there forever. The things with the Indians, the things with the bears and the animals,
Yeah.
they never changed. But now when you go in there and they have that display, I understand, and I think I know who it was. It's a white gentleman, a white historian who actually decided they wanted to put that African American piece in there. And he doesn't bite his tongue, and he doesn't curb any, I mean, it's hard hitting. I'll just put it that way. And some of the interviews that they did or that they show of people back in, let's say the 50s, 60s, whatever, saying how they don't want to integrate and this and that. Wow, I mean, it's right there. It's in your face, So anyhow, please check that out as we look at Juneteenth so we understand. I want to lift this book up. This is a book that I really am pleased with. I don't know if you have ever seen this book, but it's called, as you can see, Harrisburg. I know it looks backwards, but it's Legendary Locals. It says Harrisburg, and the gentleman's name is Todd Mealy. He's the author. And so anyhow, the reason why I mentioned this is because the writer's workshop is in this book. And I was so pleased. I had no idea. He just grabbed up an old picture, I guess, and years ago. And let me see if I can find it real quick. Yep, I'm gonna blow it. It's here somewhere. I'll find it. But anyhow, yeah, the writer's workshop. I was like, go ahead. It has a picture of let me see, Claude Lewis, myself, and another guy. There it is right there, page 86. I kept thinking 66. I don't know if you can actually see us, but we're down there. Can you see us? Yeah. Here we go. And so he honored us by knowing that we were part of the writer's workshop, part of the landscape, if you will, of the Harrisburg scene. And so many people have come this way by way of the workshop. So anyhow, this book, I just got it down at the Midtown Scholar bookstore, and it's still in, print and everything. Came out in 2014. And that is a keepsake. I'm really proud of that book. There's another book I picked up too. There's a lot of books at the Midtown Scholar Bookstore. This one is called The Black Christ. And just started reading this, and it's powerful and has a lot to say. This is a Kelly Brown Douglas. And this sister, let me see, I don't know if that's but anyhow, she has written a book that I'm finding quite interesting, in terms of a retrospective of who Christ is, and how we should see Christ, in terms of our cultural lens. Anyhow, if you haven't been to the Midtown Scholar Bookstore, do yourself a favor. They are blowing it up. I mean, that place is loaded with books now. And everywhere you turn, there's a book, okay? And so if you're a local author, they will also have a way of you getting your books, sold there and all that kind of good stuff. Oh, they come to zero, all right. So anyhow, check that out. It's right at the corner of 3rd and Verbeck Street, okay? Midtown Scholar Bookstore. Lizelle Powder, how are you?
I'm fine.
All right, good seeing you.
I was
See you
there.
doing right? Yes,
Good
indeed.
night, everyone.
Yeah, you came a little bit earlier today. That's great. I'm so glad to see you on. Yes, about this quarter after. Okay. Well, Ro is we're featuring Ro tonight, talking about her upcoming book. She just read a poem. I'm going to ask to read one more if you don't mind, and then I'm going to see if Lizelle has something to read as well. Hopefully you do,
Yeah,
and like to share something with us and all that good stuff. June 15th, brothers and sisters, as Ro is looking for a poem there. Don't forget, June the 15th, we're going to be at Ben Franklin Elementary School here in Harrisburg. And we're going to have a ball from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. with our Juneteenth celebration. We'll tell you more about that. But at this time, let us hear from Ro Brady.
I think I'm gonna read Things That Twist My Spirit. There's a lot of things in the world that grab me by the back of the neck and pull my eyes and ears to full attention. There are times I sit back in my chair, wondering if the world has taken full leave of its senses. Jack be nimble, but sometimes Jack don't be quick. Folks find fault with the simplest things, leaving each other with a bitter taste of hatred and bile lingering along the edges of their lips. Rodney said it best. He was sure under a little strain when he uttered the words, "Can't we just all get along?" Kind of rhetorical, isn't it? Mama used to say that there's nothing new under the old sun, and the good Lord is the same today, tomorrow, and yesterday. Well, some folks changing stuff up in a drop of a hat. I didn't think it was against the law to eat Skittles, but tell Trayvon that. Our hands are up and our mouths are open. Mouths are open wide, sitting in front of our idiot boxes, praying and hoping we don't get shot. Brianna, we see you. We walk a fine line between love and hate, riding down the street, feeling good about our shiny brown faces, until our necks are put under the strain. George, we're here, feeling your pain. My girl, Carly, finding invisible children on the side of the highway. What did you need that somebody should have given you? Rest your mind, dear. We're praying you find your way. Closing my eyes, I see the old spirits of the past who used to tell me that I would understand the world and all its bumps and grooves. I'm not sure I ever will. I'm watching the news, shaking my head, holding my heart, clutching my pearls, and calling on the sweet name of Jesus. These are the things that twist my spirit.
Very nice piece. And what was the
nice.
impetus? It is very nice. Yeah, what's your impetus behind that? And I like the way you read it too.
Oh, what
Yeah, what was
prompted
the
me to
thing that,
write
yeah,
this?
what
This was
prompted you?
probably something that I don't watch the news very often.
Mhm.
Like Theo and I are totally opposites, like he does all these things that really do involve politics and knowing policies and the legalistic sides of things. I'm not. I
Mm,
watch it just enough to be informed. And sometimes when I stay that extra 5 minutes, there's something on the news that just annoys me.
mhm.
Something that has happened that really didn't need to happen. And I know that media is sort of slighted. We don't get what we think is really happening. There's always some, you know, but just stuff that I hear, like when I was just talking about like the things that are happening, like sitting in your house, minding your business, and police shoot you. Or walking down the street, need some Skittles, police shoot you. Those things, like how did these things in the world happen? So a lot of the poems in this book are just from my observation and me just thinking like, that don't make no sense. Now do it.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Even the actor who was, on, was it All My Children, or whatever, something like that, and did a number of other things. He comes out, they're trying to steal his car, trying to take a catalytic converter out of his car. And then all he does is steps to, and the guy just turns around and just shoots him point blank. No conversation, no, oh man, I'm sorry, just shoots him. And now they're on the run. Unbelievable, unbelievable. What's this
Mhm.
here? I'm trying to read that real quick. It says, oh, Dan is joining us. Well, Dan.
Good
How you
evening,
doing?
good evening, Nate.
All right, good seeing you. I don't see
Yeah,
you, but
likewise.
good seeing you.
Good to be back. I was kind of busy the last couple of weeks, so just getting back into things now. So I just wanted to make certain I joined tonight.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Hey, let me say this real quickly too, since you came on. One of the things we're going to hopefully be doing soon is, in a couple of weeks actually, we're going to start doing open readings in person down at the I think it's called the Naziri. I'm saying it wrong,
Yeah, I
but
can never pronounce it right either. I have to see
Yeah.
it.
yeah,
I have to see the writing.
Nayusi, the art gallery.
How did you say it
say it
again?
again.
Nayusi,
Nausi.
That's it. Yes.
Nayusi, the art gallery, right?
That's right.
Uh-huh.
That's right. Yes. So I talked to Brother Barber and we're going to work that out. And so I'll be giving you more information about that as we get closer and closer to it. But we're going to try to do it twice a month. We'll still be doing this online experience as well as in person. And he has a big screen TV and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to see if we can work things out. So I need to stop in and check him out tomorrow and we'll do like a dry run. At least that's the promise, to do something before we actually, unwrap it. But we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. And it's twofold. We want to get more people, more attention to the gallery itself because people are not going in the way they had hoped would happen. And then also it gives more people a chance to, come out and, let's see each other again. Let's we used to have a lot of fun in person and stuff. So we'll see if we can do that again, along with this combination of being online as well. So because we don't want to lose Lazille, we don't want to lose Neil, all the great people that come on from all over, And I want to get what's her name? I want to say Queenie back into the fold and get her doing what she's doing so well. So anyhow, we'll talk. But anyhow, thank you, Ro, for doing that. And Ro is promoting her book that's going to come out this weekend. At least somewhere in this week in the next few days. Is that right, Ro?
Prayerfully, like at least the graphic artist usually takes about maybe 3 to 5 days for her to redo the
Okay.
cover. And once I get that back, it'll just be reloaded. So it's not a major
Okay.
setback, just a tiny one, but I
Uh-huh.
want it to be good.
That's good. That's good. We know it's going to be good. No question. And Neil's book is coming out. I think he said in August. He's shooting for August, September at the latest, but August is hopefully his deadline. And speaking of authors, we also have author Lazille Powder, who also has a program. You're still on with the Powder Room. Is that right? Yes, indeed. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, come on. Yeah, unmute yourself. Okay. And are you ready to read something tonight, Lazille?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Good. All right.
Yeah. I mean,
When you're ready.
yeah. That's not which one is this one. Okay. Not this one.
Well, if you
That's
just
not.
want to
Hold
take a
on.
minute. You can take a minute to find one and then I'll
Right.
come
I
back
got
to
it.
You got it?
That's a
Okay.
short piece I did today.
Okay.
It's called The Next Next. It's the next thing, the next big thing. Where is that next? How can you see it? But it's there somewhere. It's faith believing on that next, the next goal, the next opportunity, the next open door. It's just a next to the next and to the next. It sings in your spirit. The next gives you that drive to go. It gives you that zeal to push. It's like running that race to the finish line. It's from kindergarten to high school, then to college. The next big thing is coming. You don't see it? It's right there.
Mhm.
Look good. Look very good. You see it now? It right next to you. It right inside of you. And it's coming next to a mindset near you.
To a mindset near you, is that what you said? I like that. Yeah, it's a mindset. That's cool. Yeah.
You're right, though, Lisselle. There is always a next.
Yeah, and next, and you
Uh-huh.
don't stop there. You go to another next and then another next.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yes.
just thought of that and I just said, you know what? I'm going to write about the next. Because that was supposed to be my topic tomorrow. But unfortunately,
Mhm,
Christopher,
mhm.
yeah, I wouldn't be on the powder room tomorrow. I'll be next Saturday.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So,
You can be busy.
um,
I heard
yeah,
that.
She won't be in the powder
I
room
call
anymore.
his name. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So next Saturday I'll be doing the powder room.
Okay. Sound
Yeah.
like you're busy tomorrow.
Talk to
Mhm.
Christopher.
Oh, that's right. He's on location. Yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I got it. Absolutely. They'll be involved in yeah.
yeah.
Revival. Yes, indeed. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
So anyhow, but yeah, so 11:30 a.m. generally, 11:30 a.m. on Saturday morning, you
Yeah.
catch this L
11:30 to
out of the
12.
room.
So
Okay. Yeah.
next week I'll
So
talk
we'll
about
wait
the
for the
next
we'll wait for the next one. That's right.
and the next.
The next. Brother Dan Snowden, Dr. Dan Snowden, I'm glad you could join us again and good to have you as always. I'm sure you have something that you may want to share with us tonight.
Yes, I
Okay.
do. This is one of my earlier works called "Do You Think I'm Surprised?" And the main thing in this particular piece is that that line is the last stanza, that last one in each of these stanzas here.
Mm-hmm.
Many persons practice their faith soundly and give 110% at work and home. Yet these folks are thwarted from getting ahead. But do you think I'm surprised? Some volunteer in the community. Others take on extra work without complaint. Even so, all this seems to go unappreciated. But do you think I'm surprised? Thus, all are left to wonder what exactly they did wrong to wind up on the short end of things. But do you think I'm surprised? Well, perhaps that's just the way it works. The good people appear often suppressed, while the bad people are permitted to prosper. Again, I ask, do you think I'm surprised?
Hey, good stuff. I don't remember you did that piece. That's a good one. Yeah. I know somebody is
Well, actually,
acting
that
like
was
he's
I
surprised.
wrote,
Yeah, go ahead.
I wrote that one when back when they had the place on Cumberland Street, I believe.
Uh-huh.
Yep. So it was a while ago.
That's a long time ago, yes. Wow. Yes, indeed. By
That
the
was
way,
my earlier.
mm-hmm. Speaking of, coming to the street, that's where we had a church actually at one point, Imani African Christian Church, and now we are called Life Esteem Ministries, Redeemed Christian Church of God. We are on every Sunday morning too, by the way. And, we come on at 11 o'clock. And if you ever want to tune in to our service, it's from 11 until about 12:30. And all you got to do is go on Facebook and go to Nathaniel Gadsden, my page. And, we will be on there live and doing what we do. We've been getting over 2,000 views the last couple of weeks here, and it's been really good. Someone tapped into us from overseas, and it's been really excellent. The numbers have just been going up and up, and so that's been great. Thank you, Brother Chris. And so we have really enjoyed we enjoy always having people come on, and our main thing is just to get people to share and to know the word of God, and so that's what we do. And we have a few people who sow seeds into the movement. We're a small operation. We don't try to do any more than what we're doing. You're always invited to come out, by the way. We're in person. We're at 3600 Vartan Way on the second floor, and it's called Life Esteem Ministries. And, it's a part of a bigger church, which is called Living Springs Redeemed Christian Church of God. They are huge. Thank you. There you go. And that picture there. And so, this is our location. We would love to have you come in, and we do have a wonderful time. In fact, this coming Sunday, Brother Russell Goodman, Pastor Russell Goodman will be our guest speaker, and he's a dynamic speaker, by the way. If you've not heard of Russell Goodman, he happens to be married to a dynamic woman by the name of Dr. Joyce Davis, and they both are very much involved, in running the World Affairs Council of Harrisburg, and they travel all over the place. They've lived in France, they've lived in Prague and other places. They've lived all over the world. Both of them are journalists. And she, Dr. Davis, in fact, I know both of them went to church with Brady at one point.
Mhm.
They were out there at, and so Dr. Davis is also an author. She's written these 5 or 6 books, I know. And she's also interviewed people such as the Dalai Lama and other luminaries that you would know about. So anyhow, that dynamic couple. He will be our guest speaker on Sunday. We're looking forward to it. And I understand his title was something like Jesus and the Hand Grenades. And I'm like, can't wait to hear this one. Because there you go. That's a young picture. Oh my God. And look at Cole. Nicole Goodman now is like, what, almost 30 years old?
It
Joyce is always
looks like
foxy.
that.
I can't get over Russell. My man Russ, go ahead. But that's a great picture, man. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. But yeah, they'll be on. But anyhow, he's
Oh, and Cole still looks the same.
yeah. It looks like a little mini Cole.
I know it does.
That's cool. I like that. I first met Cole at the Harrisburg Academy. He was a student there, and I didn't know him from a campaign, but I remember how he stood out. Oh, okay, there we go. Now that's the picture that and that was probably this year too, by the way. Yeah, I could be wrong, but anyhow, it's a more recent picture. But Cole's the young boy in the middle there, of course. That's the dad there on the side. That's Russell, and then that's Dr. Davis, Joyce Davis, and yeah, they have a lot of fun. Brilliant people. I mean, really brilliant people, all 3 of them. Anyhow, so join us on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Again, just come on Facebook to my page, Nathaniel Gadsden, and we'd love to have you. We've had really good success. Like I said, about 2,500 people tuning in the last few weeks here, and we hope the numbers keep going up. We're encouraging people just to share, like, and share. That's all. We're not asking for any donations and all that kind of stuff. We never even mention money. We just want you to hear the word of God. So that's what it's all about. So anyhow, now that's the Living Springs Church. That's the actual church on the outside. And at one time, I don't know what it was. It must have been an insurance agent or something. It is beautiful inside. They have really taken this building. And then they have a second building right down the street, like a block down. They have one as big as that one. And that's now all French speaking and Spanish speaking congregation.
I have
They've
play
got,
rehearsal there.
I said again.
I said I used to have play rehearsals there when I was doing theater.
Oh, down at that
Our
other
rehearsals
building?
there. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. What was that other building? Now, wait, which building you talking about? You talking about the old
We
church
do our
building?
rehearsals at the smaller building that's down, that's kind of like, it's on the same property, but it's like adjacent from the main sanctuary. It's up on a hill.
Oh, yeah, no, this one
It's
is,
in the
they have
campus
another
of
whole,
their sanctuary, but it's like up on a hill. It's the smaller building. I don't remember the name of it, but we used to have, when I did a Warm Heart of Steel. Yeah, when I did a Warm Heart of Steel, we did rehearsals there.
Okay, so no, this is a whole different one. I'm talking about a whole different one.
This is
You
not
know,
off of Dairy Street?
no, this one is on off of Linglestown Road. And
Oh,
yeah. No, this is, yeah, we're on, but if you go down, okay, that's the main building right there, 3600 Vartan Way. You go down maybe half a block and you can't see it almost from the street. But if you turn and just kind of look, it's way back. It's like a big giant school that must have been a school or something. I'm not sure.
oh, nope.
Massive
Yeah.
building. That's what I was gonna say. I don't, you have rehearsal there, because they just opened that building up. And they bought the
Wow,
building,
okay.
they just cleaned it up. They just had their grand opening. And it was hundreds and hundreds of people that went to the grand opening. Cars were everywhere. And so they're doing it. I mean, they just, you just gotta give Pastor Tunde, he really is a master organizer. And so just gotta give him his props, you know. And he has thousands of people coming. They just outgrew the church. That's all there was to it. And so, and they have banquet space in there that's just incredible. They must have 5 major banquet spaces in there that they have major banquets all the time, you know, from weddings to everything else. But most of the people, at least 98% of those people come from the continent of Africa. And a lot of them are very, very, they have the businesses, very industrious and all that. Now that was the old one. That's used to be them probably 7, 8 years ago, and they've since sold that. Now that's the building you're looking at from a distance there. That's the main building right now. It has all black glass. That's the front of it right there. The all black glass. But a magnificent building. They and pack them in there. Oh my goodness, do they pack them in there? Anyhow, but then see the Africans and they come in, and a lot of them are very successful business people. Do you have any photos of Christine TD, brother Chris? Because she's one of the, she travels all over the place and she has her own business. And she is a great poet, by the way, very good writer. And also she's written some other things other than just poetry. But Christine T, she's been on The Voice a number of times, different things. And she had a wonderful book out, Christian book, and asked me to do a little thing for it, which I did. But anyhow, yeah, that's Christine. Okay, yeah. And she, it is had a picture in there of her, but I think they were in Africa at this time. And it's her and all these women, they were beautifully lined up and doing their things. But she's a go-getter, boy, I'm telling you. Yeah, there you go. There's some things there too. They have stuff, they are always doing something. I mean, they are always busy making things happen, you know. She has a thing called what is it called? Her swag or something, empower her or something like that. Yeah, but anyhow, let me get off of that. But so yeah, let's keep on moving here. We're all about poetry and writing. Quick tips, Lizelle, I'm gonna ask you first. When you were putting your books together and everything, what process did you go through? What did you do? Did you have, Roy was talking about having a team of people around, from graphic artists to editing to just a little bit everything that goes into doing your book. Tell us a little bit about your process of getting your books done.
Well, the one that I did last year, Welcome to America, I spoke to Edna White. She have her own publishing and everything, and she did everything. She did the cover. She matter of fact, oh no, this one wasn't Edna, was the Edna was the poetry book that I first came up with. So she selected the cover and she just sent it to me and let me know if I like it was like a shape of a mountain. So she has her own publishing stuff. So she did mostly everything, the cover, the editing, proofreading. She did.
You were pleased with everything?
Yeah, it was good.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's those companies out there that will put it together for you.
Yeah.
What's the
The
name of her?
one
Do
I
you
had.
remember-
Go
Do you
ahead.
remember the name of her company?
It is Edna White Publishing Company.
Edna White Publishing Company.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other one that I did last year with the Welcome to America, that one
Okay.
is Sweet Mango Publishing.
Mango Publishing?
Sweet Mango.
Sweet Mango. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. She did everything also too. Yeah.
Okay.
So they didn't charge no big amount. Was no big fee I paid.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. That's good to know. So there are a lot of small publishing companies out there that are doing great work. What's the young lady from Harrisburg? She moved down to Florida. She's in ministry now, but she's publishing everybody. She's doing a lot of publishing too. Come on. She went through my chaplain's program. She's a dynamic sister. And I just can't call her name right now. I'm looking right at her too. Anyhow, but yeah, she's doing well out of Florida. And she has a number of clients here in this area and did some things at Penn State Harrisburg last year and other places. Okay, I'm not gonna move on. But let me turn to you, Ro. How about yourself? Tell us a little bit about your process. And also you mentioned about having a team together. Why don't you reiterate that?
Yeah, like being an indie author is you could end up doing everything on your own, but there's some stuff, you're not the jack of all trades. And there's some stuff I do really well. The writing part is the part that I believe that's where my strength is.
Mhm.
I also like the formatting, but especially when you get to something that's really tricky.
Mhm.
And I found like, I need some help with this one.
Yeah.
So to be able to find someone who like you, Terry, fabulous with formatting, because she figured out the whole issue with the
Mhm.
stanzas. And then being able to find, be resourceful, don't think out of the box when it comes to graphics, and I shared with you how I got this cover made, and really be willing to give back to somebody else who's looking to, find their path.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
Terry does some
I
pretty
find it,
phenomenal covers too. In fact, I'm gonna tell you this real quick. I told you this last week, I think, but Terry came
yeah,
with this concept, of the title, and this is the what do you call it? The author's copy, whatever, to see whether or not, the proof.
uh-huh.
But she put together this nice covers her name. But yeah, find somebody that you're pleased with and that you like what they do. So that's a good idea. And by the way, Terry's company is called T-Dub, D-U-B, T-Dub Publishing.
Yeah, I told her she's on, again, I even have to hold up on my newsletter because the newsletter was releasing the book,
Yeah.
but she's in the newsletter as a resource. So once this book goes back up, she'll be, I'll put that newsletter out. So it was just great because the timing of realizing, okay, it's just not the time was
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah. So
Question for you.
having resources, I think, is a big part of the process.
It is, it is.
Yeah.
So question for you. Do you do your own newsletter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you do newsletters too then?
Yep, I do newsletters. Newsletters are fairly simple. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm interested
Now,
in talking to you about that, yeah, because I was looking at the little online magazine. I think a newsletter might be more to my want and needs at this point. Because we used to have a beautiful newsletter with the Writers Wordshop, thanks to Karen Wysocki and some other people who really did a bang-up job. When I found some of those not long ago, and I was like, man, this was really good. But anyhow, and I think that's what I probably need more than anything. It's just
yeah, I enjoy my newsletters now. See, one of the things I do is I attach my newsletters to Book Funnel.
okay.
Book Funnel gives you an opportunity to promote with other authors.
Okay.
They have promotion campaigns. And,
Okay.
I've joined and it has grown my newsletter because if you do a book promotion with another author, you promote theirs and you do a newsletter swap. Like I've gotten hundreds of newsletter, done newsletter swaps and increased it by almost 400 people
That's excellent.
just
I'm
by
interested.
doing book swap or newsletter swaps.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to you about that. See, that's kind of stuff I don't know anything about, and that's good to know. So
Mhm.
yeah, we'll be talking then. I think I'll be talking to you about doing a newsletter because the other avenue I was going in, it just was, the person got really bogged down, and I could see, and I'm thinking, So anyhow, we'll let that go. Okay, but we'll talk. What time is it, by the way? Let me see here. I'm gonna make sure we stay on time and topic. Let's go back to some readings too, by the way. I know when people tune in a lot of times, they want to hear some good writing. So I'm going to ask each one of the authors again. We have Dr. Dan Snowden, Lazille Powder, and also Ro Brady. And Ro, I'm gonna start with you again. If you'd like to read another piece, we have about 15 minutes left of the program. And if you'd like to read another piece, happy to
Who's
let you
reading?
do that. Huh?
Who's reading?
I was asking you if you
Oh,
want to.
sure.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see.
And who was that young man that came down and gave you some love?
Oh, that was my son.
All right. Tell him you said right on. That was cool.
Um, I wrote this one uh while I was in elementary school, sitting on the
Mhm.
playground, about a mother who came to see about her son.
Okay.
It's called She Got No Rhythm.
Hmm.
She's got no rhythm for the black man who tells her, I got you, babe.
Hmm.
What she wished you had was 2 pennies in your pocket that rubbed together like good black magic and fed this hungry child, sucking at the breasts of disappointment, forgotten promises, and past deadlines of rent due, please. She got no rhythm for coming to school and sitting on the playground bench because they say her youngest son is acting a fool, and that just ain't cool. But what they don't see is there's not enough of her to go around. She's busy stretching a dollar and putting bread and butter on the table to have paid attention to when her life became so unstable. She got no rhythm for why all these struggles have gotten her down. She lost her crown and the world forgot she was a queen without a kingdom, just unpaid bills and not enough meals to feed empty bellies of those she gave birth to. She's got fears that go way beyond her years. She's cried plenty of tears because she's left empty without rhythm.
Hmm. Nice. She got no rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Lazelle, would you like to read a piece?
Yep.
Mhm.
This one, one of my friends went to Ghana and he just came back. So he went to visit. There is a castle called Elmina Castle.
Mhm.
So that's where they had the slaves. And just today we were talking about it. And when he told me that, I said, you know what? I'll write a little piece about that.
Mhm. Yeah, all right.
So it's called Elmina Castle. Yes. Saying it in dialect, how I speak. Right? Yes. This is one of my home. I never knew that. I was never told about this home. I was brought here to live amongst these people like me. We huddled together and couldn't breathe. We slept next to each other. I didn't even know my mother. There was no shower, only to be thrown into the sea. Well, I guess that's the end. But they picked me. But I'm just a child, a little child. They didn't think so. They put me on the stage and they called for me. It was the greatest show. I went from one hand to the next. My shackles made noise as if to drown out the screams of crying voices. They sold me to him. I must obey. He is my master. I do what he say. I see more of them diving in the sea with their hands and feet bounded in chains and shackles. Maybe they want to be cleaned, but they never came back. You will only hear their screams.
Wow. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you captured, that's exactly what's going on. I hope that people who have not been to Blacks and Wax Museum in Baltimore, please go check it out. They have a display on exactly what that poem was all about. And it's it's pretty airy. It's really well done. On the other hand, it's a shame. It just it can make you angry, make you say, what? I mean, it did this to people? Yes, it did. did it to our people. Unbelievable. So let's thank you. So I'm gonna ask Dr. Dan Snowden if you could do a poem.
I'd be happy to. And here's one called Hopeful. It takes quite a lot to remain hopeful in the face of all things going wrong. Despite the best harmonized plans, like those that go into a good song. Staying hopeful can be a full-time job, whether one faces failure or loss, as the same dilemmas appear endless, making confidence more ready to toss. Maintaining one's hope is still possible, even when no one's situations abound. Working with faith, love, and fortitude, hope does eventually come around. Thus, all one can do to stay hopeful is to give positive thinking the nod, and to remember that hope and its friends originate from the Almighty God.
That's great. Thank you. That's a good piece. And
you.
I always like when you rhyme too. You have wonderful rhyming schemes. You know, I want to mention something that, and I don't know if Brother Chris, I know you can work magic here, and I know I'm calling on you to do something here real quick, but a guy named Marty Esworthy. Marty Esworthy is an outstanding poet. He created the Almost Uptown Poetry Cartel, and he had other groups, and he was part of the early movement of poetry. When I first came back to Harrisburg and kind of got going, I kind of met Marty. He's he's from the beatnik generation. He always was that cool dude who you just knew he grew up in that era. And so they featured him in the Harrisburg magazine right after they featured the Writers Wordshop. They had, featured us. And then they did a nice piece on Marty, and I understand that Marty is very ill right now. And so I want everyone to know that, really great poet, a promoter of poetry, who really did some major work around here, is struggling, but at the same time, prayer avails much. So we're going to pray for Brother Marty Esworthy. And I don't know if you have a picture of Marty or something that you could bring up, Brother Chris. You could find him in the archive somewhere. But I just want you to know he's a real cool guy. And he and I shared notes a few years back, just talking about, how this thing all began. And it just used to be the hottest thing going. We had two groups, the Wordshop and then this other group. And, and they, we both found our way to the Midtown Scholar Bookstore. They used to meet on Thursday nights, and we met on Friday nights and all that good stuff. And so anyhow, I received a call from one of the local poets to say, hey man, I don't know if you noticed, but Marty's sick. And so, I just want to, give a shout out and a prayer to Brother Marty. And if I get a chance to, hope I get a chance to see him, real soon, find out exactly where he is and all that kind of good stuff. But keep him in mind.
Is this him, Dr. Gaston? Not sure.
No, that's not him. Yeah,
That's
not Marty. Let me see.
Okay.
He may be, let me see, that looks like Dustin. Yeah, Dustin, whatever. But no, Marty Esworthy, sort of older guy. He has a, beard, sort of thin faced, real beatnik, you know he's from that generation as soon as you kind of see
Is he
him.
a Caucasian or African American?
He's Caucasian, yeah, Caucasian
Okay,
brother,
got that.
yeah. And yeah. And if you do poetry, Marty Esworthy, Mickey Harrisburg magazine or something like that, you may find him. No, that's not Marty either. Yeah.
That's not him either?
Nope, that's not him. Nope.
Okay.
Let me see, Marty. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, but yeah, yeah. Huh. And I keep saying, there's two magazines. There's Harrisburg magazine, and then there's the Berg. I think it's Harrisburg magazine that I'm talking about. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I don't think it was the Berg, but anyhow, that's Marty. That's where there it goes right there. Yeah, and that's a more recent picture too, because I can see it. But yeah, that's Marty, my man, a real cool guy, and really, really, really promoted poetry here in the area for a long, long time, and a lot of people over there, that chops to Brother Marty because he kept it going. So anyhow, thanks for bringing that picture up. But everybody, keep him in prayer. So what time is it here, Brother Chris? Can you do us a favor? And you have probably, if you have another video
Yes.
that you would like to show. We had the last one was dynamic, they were all good. But this, we always try to show at least a video or two of poets going on. And don't forget, folks, hope to see you on June Ditch, Marty. Oh man, that's a good one too. Okay, yeah. We still going strong. Yeah, that's a more recent picture as well, Carlos, okay. Country, yes, okay.
I don't believe in superheroes. Nobody is invincible. We all melt at a certain temperature and crack under pressure. So no, I don't believe in superheroes. Meaning for now, I simply have myself. An immaculate conception, talented yet foiled sense of misdirection. I don't see dead people. I hear emptied souls sang through songs with notes of no hope as interjections. I don't believe in kryptonite. To kill this life, there need be no injection because I don't believe in superheroes. I was born normal. Son to man and woman with two sets of hands already full so there wasn't a free limb to move mountains. Just one man's mouth to move three little men. So I convinced myself at an early age, forget Superman. He ain't even half as amazing as my dad, so I'll just believe in him. Sure, you can fly to save fallen babies from burning buildings or stop a bank robbery by turning back the time. But when he held you in his arms, time didn't seem to matter so much. So I packed a brown bag for lunch, because as far as superheroes went, they didn't outfit a custom tin to showcase mine. I could always catch my superhero at the same dad place, at the same dad time. I scroll back and quickly rewind, find him comfortably reclined, my soft-chested, rough-handed pops with feet propped, my Bruce Banner fighting off the Hulk inside. Nodding off and trying not to relapse and flash back to dreams, transformations to fatigues of green. See, he fought in Vietnam. So I don't need comic books to show me how war looks or what it means. At 28, I simply need confessions that he rarely dreams. Wishes to revert, remix, and relive jungles through the eyes with which Daredevil sees. So when I say I don't believe in superheroes, perhaps you can begin to understand what I mean. I mean, life isn't always fantastic. So as a kid, I'd waste time and money tugging at limbs of hers and hims wrapped in plastic. I just wrapped my eyes and ears around the stories of my dad and asked him, Dad, do you believe in superheroes? He said, sure, mijito. I believe in you. I believe in your sheer excellence and can only imagine what you'll do. I said, well then, Dad, wouldn't that make you a superhero too? He said, no, mijito. Sometimes our powers leave us when they're through. Strength only comes to those that need it, and I pass mine along to you. I said, really, Dad? Then what is it that we do? He said, out of broken pieces, we fashion stability. Selflessly for others, we create infinite possibilities, but last and not least, we always practice complete humility. It was then when I began to believe, realizing that superhero stuff didn't need to come with a cape and wings. And about being a superhero, well, I learned the very first thing. I didn't have to believe in superheroes, but that I was a superhero if one believed in me.
That's really good. That's slick. If one really believed in me, man, I was like, that's a tribute to a dad. That is a tribute to a father there. I like that. Yep. So, there's a couple places I love to see us go, and that is some of the colleges and universities. Do some readings, get us all together. Visit New York, LaSalle, and find ourselves reading up there. Go down to out to Pittsburgh, I mean, why not? Why not go to Pittsburgh and do some readings? And the same thing with, in fact, they have out, what is it, the center out there? It's the writer, it's named after the Black writer.
August Wilson, I so
August
want to go to the August Wilson Theater.
Absolutely. So what we have to do is make contact with them and see whether or not we can actually do a writer's workshop reading there at the August Wilson Theater. So we just got to find out who to talk to,
A friend of mine knows one of their directors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All you got to do is load up in the car and make it happen. A lot of times people say, we don't have a budget for that. We're not asking for a budget. We're just asking for space. Come out there and read. Let the community come and enjoy, Yeah. We did that down in Philly. We did it in New York at the African Poetry Theater. In Philadelphia, they had something, I forget the name of that. But that was great. We went down and they did something in 4 or 5 different spots. And so we were one of the spots that, going to read. And
That would be absolutely fabulous.
yeah, I'm telling you, let's do it. We used to do it all the time. So we just got to make the connection and then come up with time and then let's just go. let's just go and let's read, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, meet new people and you know, that kind of thing. So okay.
I had the
Good
book up
see.
by then.
Yes, yeah, we can do it. Pat has her connections in DC. We hook up with Neil, go down to North Carolina. Why not? You know, why not? High Point, here we come.
I'll take the train.
Yeah. And we go down and your people are still, Dr. Dan, you still with us?
I'm still here.
Yeah, are your people in Philadelphia or Westchester?
I'm Philadelphia.
Okay, got to get into Philadelphia. Then we have a connection there in Maurice Henderson, Dr. Maurice Henderson. So
I have a
Yeah,
friend
so-
who lives in Center City, Philly.
who's that?
I said I have a good friend who lives in Center City, Philly.
Great,
And
great,
it's
great.
taken me to a lot of different indie bookstores when I was last there.
Okay, see, that's what we need. Yeah, do a reading at one of the big bookstores there or something like that. Oh man, why not? We can do it. And Temple University is a hot spot. I used to know some people down there. I thought, well, no, we have one of the great poets down there, Dr. Kamika Williams Witherspoon. Asked her to bring us in and you know, set up a reading there. So I'm gonna give her a call. Talk to her all the time. So this is good stuff. Yeah. So let's make it happen, folks. So anyhow, I know we about run out of time tonight. I do want to invite everybody once again to come to our Juneteenth celebration, which will take place on June the 15th at the Camp Curtin School, Camp Curtin Elementary School. And it's going to be a fun time. We have some really great things potentially lined up. We already have a DJ Bryant Dupree. He will be playing for us. I talked to a good brother who is actually into clowning. He is a professional clown. He does a lot of work in hospitals and places like that. And he's big in Pittsburgh and wants to branch out here to Harrisburg. So, I just talked today, and he's willing to possibly get on that bus and come on out here and help us out on June the 15th. He said he'll let me know more after tonight. They have a meeting tonight, and he's going to see if he can bring a couple other people who are like magicians and balloon artists and all kinds of stuff. And he said, hey, man, we'll just make it happen. And so Dred Perky Scott contacted me. He's one of the great singers in our area. I mean, this brother can really sing. And then, we got vendors galore. That'll be Roe and others who will be vending. And, we're going to have food vendors and gift vendors, book vendors, all kinds of stuff. I've already been loaded up with some books thanks to the American Literacy Council and Brother Joe Bedard. He just loaded me up with a whole bunch of books, which is nice. By the way, we were able to send a ton of books to Africa, to South Africa, in fact. And, we have 3 schools over there we're connected with through the Betty Boye Yates Foundation. And she was an educator out of DC. And so she single-handedly started funding some schools there, and those schools still exist. So we were able to visit those schools about 2 years ago when Pat and I traveled to South Africa, and we've down on the board there. So we've been supplying them books thanks to the American Literacy Council. And we're going to do a whole lot more. And one of the things I'd like to do is create some pen pals and get some Zoom things going. Why not get them on one night when, we're doing our readings and stuff, and have them come on and do some readings as well. Have some of the young people, and some of the young, some of the teachers who are poets to do some poetry with us. So we're going to make some big connections, hopefully in the next, near future here. So stay with the Writers Workshop, and whatever you do, join us every Friday night. We come on around 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock, right here on The Voice, 17104 Harrisburg. Thanks to our good brother Chris, the Reverend Chris Thomas, and also his family. They do a magnificent job for us, and we look forward to doing this every Friday night. So don't forget, coming up too, we're going to be at the Naziri, probably said it wrong, Arts Gallery. It's located right off of 3rd and Broad Street, 3rd and Verbeck, and here in Harrisburg. And it's a magnificent arts gallery. So I'm looking forward to our first meeting there, which I think will be in 2 weeks. We'll still be on Zoom, online, on Facebook, and we'll also be in person. So whatever you do, come on out and join us at the Naziri Arts Gallery, okay? Thank you all for coming on. Always good to see Lazille and Roe and Dr. Dan. Even though I never see Dr. Dan, I hear that voice, so I know he's there.
I'm off
And
to go
again,
take a
thank
half
you,
an
Brother
hour
Chris.
nap.
There you go. That's right. You got another program to do. Okay. Well, listen, tell them that we're interested in some poets, okay? All right, then.
Okay,
All
Everybody have a
right.
good night.
Bye.
All right.
have a good
Everybody.
All right
evening.
now. Thanks,
Bye
Brother
bye.
Chris.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Woo! No more tomorrow. All right. Take care.